Hello, Brenda Sheldrake. So you're a busy lady. I didn't see you much last year, but I knew you were out and about. I knew you were running masterclasses and things like that. For those who don't know Brenda, she's a biz leads expert, and she's over in Canada, and she has a online community for well, it's called Biz Leads, a Biz Leads community, membership community, and she's out networking all the time. We've been networking together, I think, for about 4 years. Started with Happy Neighborhood Project, but I think in the last year I'm over in this space, and you've been over in this space. I mean, as a result, I think we've grown both of our sides of our networks so much more now that if we run our groups together, there's so many more people. But when I do run into things and run into different people, and I talk to many of your community members a lot, and I go, how did you meet Brenda? It was at this networking event. What's that called? Like, I'm finding out all these event names I've never even heard of before. So you certainly have a knack for finding all the events and all the obscure ones and everything else, and coming up with ways to leverage people. So Brenda, I'm going to get you to tell us, start with your elevator pitch. I love everyone. So we're here on sales stories, and I like everybody gets to do an elevator pitch. It is the secret to all sales. If you can't say what you sell, how is anyone going to buy it? So here's your elevator pitch. Your elevator pitch is this. I want to hear your full name from your business name, and then I want you to answer this question, IMA. So just put in what that is, IMA. I want to hear what you sell, how much it costs, and who buys it. Let's start there. Go.
Okay, already. And I'm familiar with this one from your classes, Misty. So I am Brenda Marie Sheldrake. I am the Biz Leads expert at Biz Leads Expert. And I am a lead generation strategist. I sell community memberships to my Building a Better Business community. They cost $47 a month. And the people who buy them are entrepreneurs in years 1 to 3.
Right. So entrepreneurs in years 1 to 3. That's significant. Why entrepreneurs from years 1 to 3? How did that happen?
Well, I'm a relationship person. I love making relationships. I love building connections. And I was connecting with all of these wonderful entrepreneurs. I would hear their stories. I would hear their reasons for doing their business. And then the next time I'd see them, they weren't in business anymore. And it started to make me sad.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So the goal is, you go out into business, you've got this great plan. Yeah, I get to meet people too. As a sales trainer, it's fantastic. I get to hear everything that's been sold. So when people say to me, like, what sort of people do you help? It's like, wow, the sky's the limit here, because I've met a woman who she makes her own, let's say, advent calendars, but for birthdays. So what you get at Christmas time, 25 days before Christmas, you get like a 30-day one over your birthday. So it could be every day leading up to your birthday, and then the big prize at the end, or it could be you get 30 presents on your day, or 30 presents from your birthday onwards. And like, nothing can't be sold. So yeah, sad. It is sad when you hear that, oh, I'm not doing that anymore. God, I thought you disappeared because you were doing so well. No, it was too hard and I stopped. Where did it all go wrong? So yeah, I do like your community, because I know you have the experts that are in to help with those years 1 to 3, to keep them motivated, in line, and to give some of that back end training that they really, entrepreneurs think they have to be spending thousands and thousands of dollars, or they get conned into spending thousands and thousands of dollars to set up their business, but then they don't actually have the training in what they need. And so I do like that your community is nice and easy to get the training that you need. And it's not about thousands of dollars. It's about getting started and sticking with it and doing some consistent stuff. What about 3 years and onwards? Do people 3 years and older, their business is 3 years and older, do they join your community, or do they wander off at 3 years? How's it work?
No, absolutely. The people who have been here for longer than 3 years, they're the people that I source for being the experts to teach those new people. And so they join because they get an opportunity to offer their products and services as part of their talk.
That's right. Yes, because part of your community one is the 1 to 3 years is where you're learning and stay motivated. So you're there to help those ones. And then as a biz leads expert, you also have that stage for the speakers to come in. And yes, that makes sense. 3 years onwards, part of the community, they get to teach, and of course they're part of the community. I do find that people who teach tend to like to be in a community, and they get to talk to people They get to network and they get to, share more ideas. I know over the years people have said, oh, speak to me, she's so generous, she'll just tell you everything. But the truth is there's no other way to speak to people. I can't not talk to you about sales, since that's all that I talk about. I'm literally socially retarded without talking about sales. Like, I will go out and we could go to a girls' lunch and I will eventually go, and what are you doing? And how are you selling? What are you selling today? How's that going? How many people have you got? How many sales? How many do you want? Oh, where can we find them? Like, I can't help it. I'm like, yeah, socially retarded that way. But, and I hook up a few people down the corner of a table and I leave thinking, well, that was awful. I made them work the whole time. They leave going, it was amazing. I just got all these free tips from Missy. There's no other way, to do that. So tell me, Brenda, so I've known you for a while. You've been in sales class, we've been networking together, and we like to throw out sales ideas. As a biz leads expert, we're throwing out ideas a lot on where people can get work and how they say things. So what is the biggest tip? What's the biggest sales class that you've been to? What's the tip that you've got that's resonated with you the most?
Oh, that's easy. The one that I love the most, the one that I share with everyone, is what to do with that objection about how much money it is. When people say that's too much money, and when you very simply looked into the camera and said, why is it that much money? Because that's the price. I fell in love with that idea. Just
It's such a good line now, Ray, isn't it? That when someone says, stop off, I'd never pay that. Oh my God, that's too much. It's just a price. Because what it does is it acknowledges, I've heard you say it, I hear what your problem is. It acknowledges it, but it doesn't solve the problem. It puts the problem back on them, right? Is like, it's just a price. Well, I understand it's just a price. It's too much for me. On the other hand, I really need it.
And the other thing that you always were pointing out during that was that a lot of times that's not even what they really want to know. Like, they really have another question in mind. And when I answer, well, yeah, but that's the price, then they say, well, but how many classes do you get for that? Or what's included in your community? Or they ask what they really want to know.
Yeah. The first question they ask, see, what happens in sales is, the sales question is, how much does it cost? That's the number one sales question. As salesmen, we should be begging to hear that question, right? The problem is as salesmen, is when we get asked that question, which is someone's looking towards buying, is we fall apart going, oh my God, now I have to answer it. So that's why I teach the price is the price and that's the price. And I teach about turning price into a fact. That's why I teach it so early. In fact, in my book, How to Go From No Sales to Sales, Brenda, like the first one is get known for the thing you sell, step number one. Step number two is deliver the price. You have to deliver the price without sounding anxious, and you have to deliver the price without discounting. So basically, you turn the price into a fact, like in the grocery store. How much is it for a block of chocolate? Well, currently in Australia, it's $6. $6? Do you know what the block of chocolate on the shelf says to me when I go, $6? How dare you? Why? How? When did it go up? Why? How? Do you know what the block of chocolate says to me? Nothing. It just sits there quietly. And now I have to decide, what does that mean to me? I mean, I can complain all day long, but it's not going to get me anywhere. Does it mean I'm not going to spend it, or I'm not going to eat the chocolate? Or does it mean that I'll just have to pay it and move on for the day? Right? So again, it's just the price just means now the customer has to deal with, well, what does that price mean to me? And again, yeah, the first question they ask is, I just want to keep the conversation going. And it's usually the wrong question, but it's always about price. The second question is towards what it is that they're after. Well, I didn't really mean that question. How much is it? I actually meant, what do I get? Do I have to come out? How long do I stay out for? Is it a physical thing? Do I get recorded? It's like for you, right? For your membership, it'd be all those questions that sit behind it. But until they get past the price question, there are no other questions. There's nothing to ask. If you don't know how much it costs, you don't need to know the answers to all of that, because you can't work out if you would or wouldn't buy it anyway.
I think there was another valuable piece to that as well, because it's that unapologetic. If when you introduce your product, what you sell, and you say the price, the other thing that you taught that really stood out for me was, and then you stop talking. You You don't have to justify the price after you say the price. Just say
Step
the
number
price.
3. Step number 3, silence. Deliver the price and be silent. I mean, that's it, right? I mean, out of 5 steps, that's the top 3. Get known for that thing you sell. If they know what you sell, if they know how much it costs, and if you're quiet, they can choose to buy. We salesmen make the mistake of talking all the time, trying to justify our price or our story or something else. The truth is customers clever. They understand stuff costs money. They don't like paying for it. But hey, I don't like paying for groceries. Doesn't mean I'm not going to buy them. I just don't like paying for them, right? I'm happy to do the grocery shopping. I'm happy to bring the stuff home. I do not like opening my wallet and spending more than I wanted to spend on groceries, but I do every day. It just is what it is, right? The customers are dumb, right? So, and then that becomes the secret, right? By learning, like you said, by unapologetic. It is what it is. It's just a fact. And that's what I teach is the price is a fact. You don't have to like it. You only have to know it. But it's no different to the weather. It's a fact. I mean, if I look you up now, let's go Toronto. It's Toronto on today. Don't tell me. Are you Fahrenheit or degrees Celsius?
Celsius.
You're a Celsius. I'm a Celsius. All right. Canada's Celsius. Toronto is currently at -1. So if I was over at Toronto, I'd be wearing lots of clothes if I was going out. I don't have to like that it's -1. I only have to know it so I know what to wear to go out. It's just a fact. We don't have to like it. Price is the same. I love it, Brenda. So have you got a story of how that worked for me?
I do it with my coaching clients all the time, even more than like with me when I'm talking to somebody, it's automatic now. But when I'm coaching people and they go, but how do I not sound salesy? And I said, yeah, like I say, you're selling something. So tell them the price and then just stop. Just tell them what you're selling them, tell them the price, and then stop. Don't say anything after that. And they go, yes, but nobody buys. And I say, then obviously you're presenting that wrong and you need to go to Misty's sales class.
There you go. Or you're not silent for long enough. Yes, come to class because I will teach you how to be silent for 12 minutes. Seriously, if you're silent for 12 minutes, the customer will decide if they're buying or not. And the customer doesn't wait 12 minutes. Nobody waits 12 minutes. So I love that, Brenda. Yes, but I do believe that that's precisely how it is that last year we didn't spend that much time together. Is because based off that, through all the classes, but based off that one class, we've gone, this is my class, right? Deliver the price and be quiet is really what's happened. Is you've gone out to all these other networking things. You want speakers to come in and speak, and you're teaching them you're teaching them how to do their job better and sell their thing better. But of course, along the way, you've got to sell them coaching. So coaching costs this much money. And then you say the price and stop talking. They go, I would never pay that. Yeah, no, I completely understand how you feel. It's just a price. Stop talking. And of course, as a result, your clientele goes up, your sales go up, your clientele goes up, you've got more people to work with. Of course, I don't get to see you. But I love the story, and I always love to hear the sales stories of how these work, because it's a way.
And the really interesting, so I'm a silence filler. I fill silence, right? So it was a struggle for me to learn to do that. It was a struggle for me to learn to just say it and then stop. But when I'm interviewing a prospective speaker for masterclass, I don't charge them to speak. Nobody pays to speak for me. In fact, I help them to make money through it. But I do tell them that they need to take a coaching session with you. And I tell them, and I say, and that's going to cost you $35. And then I stop. And then they'll go, well, what am I going to get for that? Right? Or they go, well, I'm already selling things. Why do I need a coaching session? I sell things. But it's not really what they want to know. It's like, what's in it for me in taking that coaching session? And what I tell them then is, do you want to fill the room? Do you want to have lots of people to sell to? And what coach who's got an opportunity to sell their program doesn't want a room full of people? So I say, well, then go to the coaching session with Misty. She's going to show you how to fill that room.
You know what's funny is when I do those coaching sessions, those onboarding sessions with your people and just all people in general, that's the highlight, right? Is the bums on seats. How to fill a room so that you've got more people to sell to. You know what the take home is that they always take, because it's not that. Here's the take home that they take is, oh my God, you've just taught me how to introduce my price in a way that now everybody's going to say, oh, can I ask you questions about that? I know, right? So that's actually the end result that they get. Like I go through 5 sections, but it's funny that you say, well, she's going to teach you how to get bums on seats, which is section number 5, but it's always section number 2 on that sales line, when to introduce it, not at the end, but at the beginning. So yeah, there's another class in there, isn't it? Where you bring it up at the beginning and then the idea is in their head. And every time I practice this with someone, they go, oh my God. I just said, oh my God, I now want to buy from you. I see what you've just done. Now I want to buy. And I said, all I've done is relay your story, but I put the sales part at the beginning, not at the end. And I told you what it is and what I'm selling at the very beginning and not at the end. They've gone, I want to buy it from you. It's your program. We've gone, and that's how it works, right, with an audience. So yeah, the price. That is the most important sales class, is the price. Look, sales anxiety comes for one reason. Stuff costs money. Everybody gets anxious about it. And so coming good with that price and being able to deliver that price, eventually a salesman, if you stick around for 10 years, you'll be able to sell, but you'll sell because you'll finally get over the fact that stuff costs money. So if you can learn it early, which is what I teach in classes, if you learn it early, then you're already good with it. It's just easier to sell. So thank you, Brenda, so much for talking to me today and coming on to my sales stories with me. Always good to catch up, and it's good to find out what you're doing. So community biz leads expert, so your community costs, tell me again, how much is it per month to be in your community?
$47 a month.
$47 a month. Brilliant. And how can we find you, Brenda? What's the easiest ways to find you?
I'm on LinkedIn, Brenda Marie Sheldrake. I'm on Facebook, Brenda Marie Sheldrake. That's it. Message me and I'll send you a link to get signed up for the membership.
Excellent. Beautiful. And yeah, go to some of those training classes. She finds experts from all over the place, because like I said, she's at networking groups that I've never even heard of. And I go looking for these things. So she finds the ones that I've never heard of. So she finds people who, just nobody else has met yet. So it's very exciting. Thank you, Brenda. Thanks for coming out and sharing with me today.
Thanks, Misty. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.